Hey there, welcome to another episode of Career Retrospectives right here on the Super Review Show Network. I'm joined by my two incredible good friends, Kyle and Mike. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo, what's going on? Back again.
We are back again. Make sure everyone starts drunk driving, everyone. We support it, we endorse it. Just kidding. We don't endorse it. No, just kidding. That's an inside joke for another time. Anyways. No. As the title of this podcast suggests, tonight and on our stream tonight, we're going to be breaking down Mike's pick. We spun the wheel, and we're going to be talking as the wheel landed on CeeLo Green's "The Lady Killer" from 2010. As volunteer by tribute, Kyle has agreed to go first on this one, and we are cautiously optimistic and excited to see where this goes from here. So,
And
Kyle,
we advocate killing of ladies as well.
We support all that.
Kidding.
We've no problem. No, we're kidding. Don't worry. Anyways, I digress. Anyways, let's get to it. Kyle, what do you CeeLo Green, that Grammy nominated guy who went to jail or whatever? I forget whatever his name was. Talk to us. What do you got?
CeeLo Green. So CeeLo is someone that was a lot bigger than I think people realize he is. And I'm not talking him personally, I'm talking his career. But yeah, I have honestly never listened to a full album of his. Can honestly say the only song I know by him was his huge crossover hit, Fuck You. Only song I ever heard by him, gonna be honest. I did enjoy that song, but R&B and like soul, not really my go-to music choices. Just never really did much for me. So going into this one, I was not really sure what to expect. And to what might be Mike's surprise, excellent choice, Mike.
Yay!
I'll start this one off saying I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Nice. Quite a bit. I actually really liked this. So I'll just go track by track here. JT, if you want to pull that up.
Yep.
I only listened to the standard edition on this. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So loved that beginning. Loved the intro. Really set the tone. Did not expect it at all. I don't know if this is what most of his stuff is like. I can't speak on that. But it really set the tone on here. Kind of sets like this old like spy James Bond 007 style thing going. Really fun, really enjoyable. Actually got me really excited for what's to come here. Then we get to the first like actual song here. Bright Lights, Bigger City. 10 out of 10 track. This is so good. Has this massive modern pop sound with incredible synths and strings, but it also has like a retro disco vibe with some late 2000s EDM inspired pop, with even a hint of 90s boy band in some of the vocals. Really enjoyed it. It has like even some like funk incorporation on this. Very well done. Incredibly well done. Continue to get me excited here. And then you go on to Fuck You, which was, as I said, the only song I knew by him. The radio edit, Forget You. Terrible censorship on that one. But I digress. Another 10 out of 10. Absolutely love this song. Having revisited it after years of not hearing it, blew me away. I don't think I appreciated it much when it first came out, because that was kind of when I was in my phase of like, oh, if it's not rock or if it's not heavy, I don't want anything to do with it. It's a fun song. It's really the last mainstream radio hit that I can remember that actually incorporates like some true like funk aspects on it. The closest I guess you would get now would be like Dua Lipa, but even that is more toned down than this was. Very well done. Incredible opening to the album. And then we do take a slight dip, but nothing crazy, on Wildflower. 8 out of 10. It's not as exciting as the first two tracks. Still a really good song. The hook is just not as memorable as it's presented. Feels a tad lengthy at times. Only thing I have to say on that is baby making music. Wow. And then we get to, and I don't know why I have a feeling that Mike is going to disagree with me here. Worst song on the album. Only song on here that I dislike. This song I really didn't like at all. This like marching band drummer boy beat in the background doesn't really work for me. It doesn't feel like it fits in with the rest of the album. His CeeLo's talking styled vocals specifically don't work on this one. I also feel like we have to address the elephant in the room here of all his accusations over the past 10 years, all his rape and assault allegations. Really makes certain lyrics on here, like the whispered portion at the end of "Let me touch you, you taste so good," just really doesn't work. It's even outside of all that. I'm talking just musically. It just comes off so cringe. It's so cringy on that. I don't like that. The thing that does save is it is followed by the ending with like this big band horn section. Kind of a weird choice, but it kind of works at the same time. Either way, the whole song just didn't, it felt kind of directionless at times. Other than that song, the rest of the album is only up from here again. Love
What did
Gun,
you give that 1 out of 10?
4.
Okay.
Four, yeah. Love Gun, 7. It picks the album back up in a way that I think it really needed to. Kind of goes back to those like 007 spy theme vibes that were kind of lacking from the beginning. Probably after the second track kind of went away a little bit. Brought it back on that. It's not perfect, but it's a solid track. You know, it's a bit repetitive. The chorus isn't the strongest. I don't know how many times you could repeat "Love Gun, you shot me, baby," but they found the maximum limit, I guess. Then we go to my third favorite track on here. So this album had 3 10 out of 10s for me. We already did 2 of them. Satisfied is the other one. 10 out of 10 again. This song just has straight up Earth, Wind, and Fire style to it. Absolutely loved it. It has a groove that makes you want to dance. The backing vocals are excellent. I actually found myself dancing a little bit while doing the dishes listening to this last night. It's the perfect song to just put you in a great mood. And then you go to "I Want You." Another fun song. Again, nothing groundbreaking, pretty like by the books, R&B, pop R&B style. Really like the horns on this one. Chorus, not the catchiest. That's one thing on the album that I did notice outside of those few big songs. Some of the choruses tend to be not too memorable, but again, solid song, 8 out of 10. Then we get to, I'd say, probably my least favorite run of songs on the record. Not to say that they're bad, just that they're pretty middle of the road. "Cry Baby" and "Fool for You," I kind of lump them together. They're both 6 out of 10s for pretty similar reasons. They're not tracks that I would find myself revisiting often, but in the context of the album, I wouldn't skip them. Like, it's not a skip, but it's not one that I would put in a playlist. It's not one I would choose to listen to. They suffer from issues of being a little bit repetitive. Other than that, they're okay. There's nothing special, nothing bad. And then you go to "It's Okay," which is a little bit better than okay. It's a nice little love song with a great retro soul sound to it. It's not a top tier song, but it's good. The vocal melody is really nice. The background vocals on this song, but particularly throughout the whole album, absolutely kill it. 7 out of 10. Then "Old Fashioned," we got a 9 here. The only reason that I can't go up to a 10 on this one is just because of how it doesn't stand apart from the pack in terms of what it does. And what I mean by that is this is that slow dance wedding song that I feel like every R&B soul album needs. I feel like you can't get away from it without having one. Here it is for this album, and it's very good, but there's nothing that really sets it apart from any of the other songs that do what it's intending to do. It's pretty by the books when it comes to that, but his voice sounds great on it. The instrumentals are awesome on it. Well done. And I wish the album finished stronger than it did. This is still a good song, don't get me wrong. It's a 7. I think I just would have swapped the order of these two. I think I would have put this before "Old Fashioned." This didn't really, it didn't even need to be here, really. You probably could have left this one off the album and it wouldn't have made much of a difference. I just think that ending it with Old Fashioned would have been a better choice.
But Kyle, it
Yeah.
charted in Denmark, so I
It's
mean,
great for Denmark. I mean, hey, it had to
it's
work
really
somewhere.
it's really big on the Denmark market. So
But
you know,
again,
I don't like maybe
it's one that would have worked, I feel, if it was like outside the context of the album. To me, this is the case of the placement in an album trying, like, bringing something down a bit. So to me, it brought it to a 7 out of 10. It's good. I thoroughly enjoy the song, but where it is on the album just doesn't really work. And then you get to the outro. Love the guitar solo that's essentially throughout the whole thing. Very well done. Perfect end cap to the album. So overall, this album really delivered a more pop aspect than I was expecting it to. I kind of expected going into it to have it be more just straight up R&B soul oriented. The production on it is incredibly clean. The producers did a fantastic job. Looked like there were a few of them, a few different people throughout the album. Immediately lifted my spirits from being in a bad mood. I don't think it's possible to be in a bad mood listening to this. It's just a fun, nice, groovy album. It really shines though on those songs that that make you feel like you want to get up and dance. When it gets into those more upbeat tracks, that's where it really excels. Those first two songs in the beginning, absolutely knock it out of the park. Bright Lights, Bigger City, favorite song on here. That was so good. Blew me away when I first heard it. And yeah, when it hits those strides and it gets into that, it's incredible. So overall, there's one big misstep on it for me that I would skip. But other than that, it's a very well done record. Even for someone that's not a huge fan of the genre, I would go back and revisit this album many times. Actually got me kind of intrigued to see what else he has done, visit some of his other albums maybe. So I'm going to go, when I factor in the album listening experience, I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 on this one. Way higher than I thought it was going to be, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, before you got in the room, I guessed 6.5. And what did you guess, JT?
Like a 5. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I was at 6.5. He was at 5. And I mean, I'm blown away. I could not.
I told you guys it was going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna take a dump on that one, but damn.
No, I was actually pleasantly surprised with this.
Wow. Well, the bar is set, Mr. JT. It's your don't walk into it though.
JT is coming in with a straight 3 out of 10.
This is a solid 2.85. No.
3.14. Pie. Because CeeLo likes pie, so
we're not in March yet, Mike. And my dad's birthday is my dad's birthday is 3/17 or 3/18, whatever it's called, whatever. Anyways, besides the point though. So man, you want to talk about, first off, K-Man, proud of you. I literally thought you were gonna hate on this, and it turns out we were completely wrong.
I thought I was going to too.
Yeah. This man, give this man a medal or something like that. Give him a Grammy or an Oscar or something at this point. Bravo.
Or just make him into the character that's behind him. Like, we'll just coat him in metal and make him into a Grammy. You know, it'd be a Kyle Grammy.
Kyle is a Grammy. The Kyler. We're gonna call it the Kyler.
The Kyler.
Exactly. No. Anyways, but now it's my turn. We're gonna take it back in for a second. I'm in a similar vein with Kyle on this. And I'm not just saying because I know with what I just heard. After listening to this album, several times over before we did our broadcast and before we did our podcast tonight, I was in a similar boat. I was like, you know what? I know the song, the hit single off it was, I'm going to censor myself, but F you, forget you, whatever. I know we already.
If you can censor yourself when talking about this album.
You know what? Damn right. This is. That album, that song, "Fuck You," is so good. Anyways, no, we try to keep it PG-13, but in this case, not so much. But I only knew the song "Fuck You" by CeeLo Green. Obviously, the censored version is "Forget You" or "F You," whatever. I only knew that one song, and I remembered being on the radio when it first came out, and I was like, "It's catchy. It's got that drive and whatnot." And the title of the album always intrigued me because whenever I'd have it like on shuffle because I have the one song on my playlists and whatnot. But listening to the whole album from start to finish, give Mike a medal for this one. This was a trip in the best way possible. Let me just read over the track listing for a second, because there's a lot of really, really, really great pop songs, some soul influence here, a little R&B here and there, which I'm not opposed to. Like, there's certain R&B that I really love, and there's certain soul that I really love too, like especially like in the the Motown era of music and whatnot in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. But this was a refresher that I needed, especially me, because it's so funny. On my own time, I was like, I'm listening to a lot of the same stuff. Like, I'm listening to my rock, my alt rock, my hard rock, my getting ready for some shows coming up next year and whatnot, and then I got tickets for and whatever, Foo Fighters, whatever. All right, cool. Then I listened to this record after Mike said we're gonna do this one. I landed on his pick, and I was like, man, what a trip this was. This was a shocker, because I only knew the song "Fuck You" from the album. I only knew that one song, but going back and actually listening to this album from start to finish was unreal. It was something I feel like I needed in my musical life at the moment and this time. I'm not even kidding when I say this. I don't normally do this, but I'm going track by track here too. More than just standout tracks. So there's a lot of really good stuff here. The first thing that jumped out to me immediately was the first track is called the Lady Killer theme intro. No, normally, like when an album has like a start or a finish, like an intro or an outro, like piece of music, whatever. Like, we talked about the Paul McCartney album that had that. I was like, all right, that always got me. I like that kind of stuff too. This one took that to another notch. So starting off with that intro music of just the Lady Killer theme was bloody brilliant. It was so good. Mike, Bright Lights and Bigger City is going into my summer playlist, hands down. Incredible track. And to all the points that even more of the points that Kyle raised, it's positive, like vibes, I guess you could say. It's got that, like, it's an amalgamation. It's a combination of so many different genres in I can't even see the track. It's like a 3-minute and 38-second song. It's unreal. And then we get to, the hit single off the album that charted so sky high in 2010 or 11, "Fuck You." This, and we don't mean to you, the viewer, the listener. We mean to the song. It's a great song. Listening to it in context of the album made me realize, this is actually a missing piece to a greater puzzle that I found out with this album. Wildflower, Bodies. It is, yes, to Kyle's word, it is baby making music. There's no, if you listen to the songs, you get around to it. They really truly are. You want to, if you're looking to have some love in your life, then go listen to those tracks. One thing I'm not with Love Gun featuring Lauren Bennett. I'm not a big fan of, like, when early 2000s pop or R&B or soul would have like sound effects, but the actual gunshot sound effects in the song really, 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 when I first listened, I was like, oh my God, it literally is a love gun. Like, hey, why not? It was actually really freaking cool. And like the whole, I was smiling. So, mind you, my smiles got bigger and bigger as I listened to this album from start to finish. It was pretty funny. I was like, oh my God. And then my smile got bigger and bigger and bigger. Love Gun, great track. Satisfied, it was good. And then it didn't actually take a dip with like the track listing. Kind of like stayed, for me, it was a little more consistent than I thought it was going to be. I Want You, Cry Baby, Fool for You, like just the rest of the album just fell into play. And then ending on that outro, man, of just that incredible Lady Killer theme was just, man, I felt like I've never done drugs in my life. I can honestly say that, but I felt pretty damn high listening to this. It was great. I was so
hopefully
happy.
You weren't driving.
No. I was.
Yeah, because
no marijuana while I was driving.
There was some reports in the town, in the county, but I don't know. Maybe it was not you. But, yeah.
Like you just disclose where we do all of our podcasts. Damn it.
No, my bad, man. Yeah, I mean, in the general globe. There was
general consensus is like, they do drugs. What? No.
In the northern hemisphere, there was some problems. Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, but I gotta say something to you, and I gotta say something about this album. But like it's this I'm so at first when Mike said, it landed on CeeLo Green's The Lady Killer, I was like, all right, I know the hit single. I had very low expectations. I only knew the hit single off of it, from 2011, which is, God knows how many years ago at this point, which is crazy, but it's still played on radio to some extent. But this is a testament for showing that just because there's a hit single doesn't mean the rest of the album sucks or isn't good. It isn't, it doesn't shine as much. I am thanking every Jesus and God known to man that Mike told us to listen to this, because I would go back to it and many times over and listen to it from start to finish. Like, I might show my girlfriend this album and she'll be like, oh my God. Then she might actually bring back memories of her, or she might find tracks that she would like too. It's just, this album is a testament to show that just listening to a hit single can open up your mind to the album that, in this case, does have a lot of really, really, really other great solid tracks. This was an awesome album to listen to. I was surprised about how much I enjoyed this, and like just even talking about it just makes me smile just a little bit more in today's day and age. I'm like, oh, CeeLo Green's The Lady Killer, great album. It's like it really brought a smile to my week doing this, leading up to our show tonight. And I gotta say, this is it really, like, I cannot emphasize this point enough. It really does show that just because an album has a hit single doesn't mean the album like is not any good. This, I would go back and dive into other stuff. Like, the closest thing I can compare it to in like the 2020s standards, if you will, is like an artist like Harry Styles. For a second, I just want to bring him up for 1 second. Like, he has a couple hit singles, or Ed Sheeran, another one. They have like huge hit singles, but when you go back and listen to the whole album, it's a whole different experience in general. Like, it's not just a hit song that really, the hit song drives the album, but listening to the album you can find other great songs in the mix as well. And that's what I think that Mike did here for us with CeeLo Green's The Lady Killer. I mean, like, you look at Harry Styles and with As It Was, or Ed Sheeran with like Shivers or whatever, those are really solid albums too that I actually really like as well. But without the hit single, I would have never heard about the album, and thus not going down the rabbit hole in a certain sense. So this was a good rabbit hole to go down. I will say that. Thank you, Mike, for recommending this on the wheel. Seriously, dude, you're killing it, bro. My rating is actually going to be a 9 out of 10. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I thought I would go lower. I really thought I would go lower, but no, I was. Damn you, Mike. This is a great album. Oh my God. I've said enough. But anyways, Mike, it's your turn with this masterpiece.
All right. So this album's very nostalgic for me because I played this on a lot of car trips. It was the theme song to a summer, and it was it really punched me in the face when it came to like how much material, like kind of like agreeing with what JT said, that I could discover. And when I watched like live clips of it, like CeeLo performing it acoustic, like literally doing it in a different style, like, I mean, it like really accentuated the idea of how diverse of a album it was in the sense that it could fluctuate into different genres and different presentations of the songs, and still almost come off as if not better than it actually was. And like, I found so much to chew on this album that it almost kind of overwhelmed me at first. And here's the craziest thing: the first song I skipped. I don't know why, but when I got this album, I heard the beginning of it and I immediately skipped it for some reason. I can't answer that. So I'm just gonna pretend like we're in Mike's head as he's listening to this album. He went straight to the past the intro, past Bright Lights Bigger City, and straight to, as you've all said, fuck you. Not you, but the song's name. Went straight to that song. Instant classic, best song on the album for me. Best vocal performance involving CeeLo's range. You really get this feeling of cleanness, lack of like the I can't, my brain just went blank. The auto tune his power in vocal and his power in writing songs that really kind of work alongside the genre of like the funk and the modern beat like that he puts alongside a lot of these songs really kind of came together. And I mean, Bruno Mars actually helped write this song. Another one of my favorite artists in the game. Bruno Mars, you know, CeeLo Green, you know, the Smeezingtons helped produce it. They pumped out a lot of songs in this genre, and this was just kind of a great kind of coming together of minds that helped write a song that takes some interesting turns and showcases some interesting a bit of just vocal performance and you know, orchestra accompaniment. Yeah, 10 out of 10. You know, but I'll come back. You know, coming back to Bright Lights, Bigger City, I immediately got Billie Jean vibes from Michael Jackson. Do 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 that bass line. And after listening to that song, I was like, holy crap, like it almost feels like an homage to Billie Jean's by Michael Jackson, but like with this whole nother complex kind of orchestral kind of, you know, just accompanying alongside of it. And it really kind of was like a slow burn for me where like I didn't realize it was as good as it was. The groove, the chorus, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And it was like definitely one of those songs that I like kind of came back to and was like, holy crap, like why did I skip over this? Maybe I was just excited to hear the hit song, like JT said. I kind of like underestimated material to go straight to that. So yeah, like yeah, you know, so we have a 9 and a 10 so far, and then we move on to like my most played song on this album. And that's the funniest part, that like, you know, Kyle said it was kind of taking the dip here, nothing crazy, but like this was the song I played the most of this whole album, besides obviously the title track one. And for me, it had a atmosphere to it that really worked with like being in the car, and just overall the groove, the bass, the like the just overall atmosphere of it really was something that impressed me. And even in even in the end of the song, and if you listen very faintly in the background, you almost hear like the way a video game has like that certain kind of quality to it with like the synths in the background. They have a eerie kind of like alien feel to them in the background of this song that create a kind of mysterious feeling to it. And that was something I got from Wildflower. And the lyrics are, like Kyle said, they're very, you know, baby making, you know, innuendo, kind of like, you know, talking about picking a girl as like a wildflower, putting her on the table. Oh boy, I wonder what he's talking about. But you know, like yeah,
and
like it was
up, like,
and
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
opening up and let me in, and okay, whoa, easy, all right, we only have so much time on this podcast. But yeah, like it definitely had some real, like, you know, throwback to the old days of like you know, the R&B loves, you know, that love the Riz song, as the kids say today. But yeah, this was one of my favorites on the album. I love this song. 10 out of 10. I listened to it so many times that it almost it's attached itself to certain feelings, you know, like that I was going through at the time, which is always an interesting thing when you're going through life and you listen to a song that begins to weave itself into those moments. So yeah, 10 out of 10. And then we hit the worst song on the album. Kyle,
hell yeah, Mike.
This is a clunky, musically lacking track. Feels completely out of place. If you look at the writers, you'll notice, if we go to that page and we're on it, yeah, Salam Rami, God bless you. But you know, like I basically, this name, if you actually look at this name, he's part of the Love Gun one as well. Kind of brings a certain jarring lack of direction, lack of theme feel. Exactly what Kyle said. Literally, I was, what the hell is this? It's just this like directionless beat, lack
It is
of,
so out
you
of
know,
place on this album.
it is. It feels like he sat down with someone, and he also produced it. The Salami, whatever. I don't know what his name is, but I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm not reading it very well. This
God
damn
bless you.
font. But yeah, you God bless you too, sir. But yeah, and then so that this song really made me feel like it was just like, what? Like someone worked with you on a song and brought in a completely different vibe that you really didn't need. And just 3 out of 10. I went a little even harsher than Kyle. It was one of those songs that I actually skipped over, and this is going to sound insane, but I actually had to listen to it more for this review because I literally did not listen to it for the inception of it, like into my like my freaking discography, or not discography, my library of music. It was literally, since its beginning, it was literally something I skipped and did not even want to hear it. So I listened to it again just to make sure I was like my rage was well met, and it was. So yeah, 3 out of 10, horrible song. Then we move on to Love Gun, another song I did not like. By the way, Love Gun is another name for a penis. I don't know if you guys realize that, but
Yeah.
like this is really like unnecessary kind of name for a song, but also
This
just
made the metaphor better.
yes, kiss, right. I mean, some people would say like, oh no, it's like speaking about like, like being loving towards someone, and no.
Nope.
Anyway,
Yes, I'm just kidding.
it follows the same direction as Bodies in that, although I do agree with Kyle, it does introduce that kind of like that James Bond kind of like swanky kind of like jazzy feel to the horns and like, but it's repetitive. It's like upbeat, but like the accompaniment of those horns really does it no good. It's a fun song. If there's anything it has, it's a fun kind of upbeat, like like this kind of like fun kind of beat and horn accompaniment to it, but it just goes nowhere. It treads water on kind of lack of development to just repetitively kind of use the same thing over and over again and repeat the same thing over again. It has character, but it doesn't have development. And you can have character and lack of development and still not be great. It does fit in the album more so than Bodies, but it fits to a level that just I really honestly would listen to if people were in a room at a party, right? But they weren't paying attention to the music. It was just kind of in the background. I'd play this at a dinner, like let's say at a wedding, and people were eating. I'd play this kind of in the background, and it's just kind of like, doesn't really develop a chorus that's memorable. It just kind of has an upbeat kind of horn and section to it. I'd play that 6 out of 10. Still has some character to it. It's not like Bodies or anything, but definitely it still fits in that realm of like a fun character song. And then we get Satisfied. This is where the album really thrives for me. This is where this album really takes a seat in the driver's seat and really drives the song with this Motown jazzy bass, kind of just bluesy overall feeling to the song. This is where it really thrives. The horns, the saxophone really stick out in the song. It makes for a fun, upbeat tune. A little repetitive during the chorus, but it doesn't do damage to the song in that it, like Kyle said, it gives you that good feeling. It gives you that upbeat feeling, that uplifting feeling. The writers really focused on Motown throwback style, and this is really a great direction. 10 out of 10. One of my favorite go back to tracks. After this part of the album, so like you got that strong beginning, you got that weak Bodies and Love Gun, and then you start. This is where I feel the album really sits in the driver's seat and continues to do what it does best, and that's fuse the Motown and the that style. So you come back into I Want You, 9 out of 10. Continues great direction, great beat alongside killer orchestras, great chorus. Chorus could be a little bit better, but not terrible. It's just not as good as the other songs. Really works in the car. Like, once again, this is a car album, folks. If you aren't listening to this in the car, you're missing out. If you're listening to this over headphones, cool, but it needs to be a car album first and foremost before you continue to give it revisiting listens, because it really is it's when those trees are going by and the river, the sunsets. It's like, that's the stuff you need to be watching while this album happens, and it's the only way. And then, obviously you'll listen to it again, but it really needs to be in that vein. So 9 out of 10 for I Want You. Crybaby, 10 out of 10 for me. I really disagree with Kyle in the sense that I felt the chorus was great for this, but I mean, I can see where he could come across and not like that. This song has that cool sax and great lyrics. The lyrics, I love the lyrics to this song. It's just kind of from the point of a man, kind of taking all the blame, and just like that's something that I think all guys can understand. Really great chorus. Really works well with the momentum of the song. It continues that streak of this orchestral. Like, once again, if y'all know me, Mike loves the orchestra. And when it's used correctly, we've talked about this in our past reviews. When it's not used correctly, I think we were talking about either Def Leppard or I think it might have been Def Leppard, right? Where they failed to
their orchestrated album. Yeah,
like an absolute example of how using an orchestra just does not help songs, And this is an example of how you can use an orchestra in the background and it doesn't overpower the song, but it absolutely accentuates the song and brings it to the forefront. I feel CeeLo Green's vocals here showing off with his power kind of solidifies him as a true vocalist without that use of autotune, as I said before, and it kind of shows here again. Fool for You. Now, this one was an absolute freaking breath of fresh air for the album for me. 10 out of 10. This one really hits home with its introduction of the R&B feeling, the slow jam, that whole bass. When I would play this in my car and I had the bass turned all the way up, dude, this thing buzzed the car with that bass in this song. It is an earworm, has an earworm. Yeah, it was like, it hits hard, man. If you haven't listened to this in the car, once again, this is a buzz-based R&B slow jam that just has that cool feeling to it. Booming, just kind of punches you in the face. It really is amazing how his vocal, one of the other top vocal performances in this song, especially that whole ending, has this real cool, almost Pink Floydian feeling with like the layers of the background vocals. Pink Floyd always had those background ladies vocals alongside the like bass, alongside the guitar of the song, and this like does this whole kind of ending thing that I really think just kind of kicks ass. And Fool for You just takes the whole album in a different direction in the sense of like the R&B pure song, but has the orchestra kind of sitting alongside of it. That's just awesome. It's okay. Another great chorus. Once again shows the Motown sound of the modern beat. Catchiness of the chorus is top notch. Another great song. 9 out of 10 for this. This is a good song, straight and forward to the point. And then we hit Old Fashioned, like Kyle said. This is the kind of like the bluesy kind of like, wedding slow dance song. And any slow dance, it doesn't have to be a wedding, but great song, great vocals, great lyrics. A song the album needed. Like what Kyle said was nothing more to be said about that. 10 out of 10. It's just great song. And I always like going back to this one because it slows things down, but just doesn't lose any substance. If that makes any sense. Sometimes when you lose upbeat, you lose a little bit of substance because the upbeat kind of keeps things rolling, but this just keeps it's packed in. And then we're hit with a song I've never really liked, not hated, but never really loved. No One's Gonna Love You. 7.5 out of 10. A cool beat alongside a decent chorus, but doesn't really take off, doesn't really go anywhere that I wanted it to. Decent song. And then we're hit with that outro. Great outro, intro. I mean, the whole vibe of the album, the whole theme of the album, the staying to that theme, great. Bodies, obviously, we're not going to speak of because it's an abomination. But like overall, this album is just one consistent lump of great songwriting, a bunch of great writers coming together. I mean, CeeLo Green and Bruno Mars on the same track. I've listened to others that I love too, but I mean, yeah, man. Fraser Crane played. No, it's not Fraser Crane. No, Fraser T. Smith. Excuse me. He was in on some of the songs that I really liked.
He's doing those tossed salad and scrambled eggs, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Have yourself a chef salad. All right, but yeah, like overall for me, yeah, 9 out of 10. This was an absolute, it had so many high points. It had some a couple low points with like, this and that. But it's like, yeah, 9 out of 10. One of my all-time favorite albums when it comes to something that I wasn't ready to listen to, because I did a lot like what you guys said. I just heard CeeLo Green and I immediately thought of what's that other song he's done in the past? Crazy, which is a good song. It's just like I thought it was gonna be like rap. I thought it was gonna be like, no offense to rap and stuff like that, but I do like myself an album that kind of showcases the R&B and like the Motown sound versus just R&B. And if it had all R&B stuff on it and it just kind of lacked that diversity of like the Bright Lights, Bigger City actually was one of the more modern songs on the album. It felt like Michael Jackson meets like just kind of that beat of today's music, the modern pop song. It brought a lot of things together and melded them into one, and it was probably the most modern song on the album, and then the rest of them have the Motown throwback soul feel, and then some slow jams of R&B. But overall, it's just a great mixture of that, and she really shows the songwriting of CeeLo. And unfortunately, if I don't have 100% confidence on this, but looking ahead, he definitely fell off a cliff, and that could end up in a landslide. But still, he fell off a cliff, and he did not return to form. I know his previous work definitely had some strength to it, but from what I heard in his next couple albums, he did not even come close to holding a flame to this. And he did one about Robin Williams. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like really just strange, and it did not
remember that.
Oh, it's very strange. If you haven't a chance, listen to CeeLo Green's Robin Williams tribute song. It feels so like it lost focus of what it really wanted to do, and was just confused. But overall, yeah, man, this was it's definitely one of my go-to song, R&B, Motown kind of influenced new albums that I would first thing I would do when I talk to someone about music, I would immediately, there's a couple different albums I immediately shoot off as kind of like, hey, like when I talk about Beardfish, that's more of a like these days, I would just shoot off kind of like those songs like that have kind of hit me hard, and this was one of those albums at the time. So yeah,
perfect. So, and you gave it a 9 out of 10, right?
9 out of 10. Yep.
Cool.
There it is. And Kyle's the villain. No, that's a villain. I'm willing. That's a villain I'm willing to accept, because at least it's a villain with like some valid points. That there's some songs on there that I think I have not guilty pleasure. That's an incorrect word. I wouldn't say guilty pleasure, but I would say I'm extra. Yeah, I'm extra like sensitive to certain elements of a song that I think impress me. Whereas you might be like, cool, but like I wish there was more of this or that, and it completely could see that. So I don't call it a villain. I just call it the lesser enthusiastic. You're the guy behind you. You're
the problem. It's you. What are you talking about?
You're the problem.
Anyways, did you want to spin the wheel? What was our next week's one? We had
Blink 182 next week.
That's right. That's what I thought.
Blink 182. We'll get to your song soon here, Kyle. I swear to you, it's gonna happen.
One day it's gonna be all that's left on the wheel.
Oh my god!
Do you guys want to add some more songs of ours in there just to kind of pop? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Oh my god,
guys! But wait, my songs didn't get guys. No,
wait, we forgot about Kyle. No, I'm just kidding. Take me back. No, I'm just kidding. That's gonna do it for us. Thanks so much to Mike for having this pick, of course, on the wheel. It's a total shocker for us. It was definitely a surprise, no matter what. And I want to thank Kyle, of course, for doing this. Kyle and Mike, both of them, for doing this podcast in general with me. I want to thank you all for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us tonight. If you like what you've heard or seen or heard here, subscribe to us on YouTube, and don't forget to follow us on podcast format as well. Simply at the Super Review Show Podcast Edition. This guy down here is your podcast coming back yet or no?
Eventually.
Okay.
Eventually. Cool. I have it. I have the first few episodes recorded. Just have to edit them and put them out there.
Yeah. You're recovering from Weddingzilla done 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a great wedding. Seriously. Kyle, his wedding was awesome. You. So
yeah.
But yeah, so tune in next week. Next week is gonna be Blink-182's One More Time. Their most recent release that just came out. So just tune in next week if you want to hear more about that. So but for all of us here at the Super Show's Career Retrospectives, stay safe, take care, and be awesome.